Thursday, June 1st, first day of June, 2023. It is hot out today. Been running some errands today and really second guessing not getting the air conditioning put in that Digibug. But it's all good. It was just me, so I can just crank the windows down and I'm good to go. I'm gonna share this with some people. I'm not used to going live, so I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, dipping my beak in the water, trying to figure it out. So speaking of beaks, let's go to Twitter, and I am going to drop the link to this, I guess. Do I know what I'm doing? Not really. Thanks for hopping in here. Anybody who's watching right now, thank you very much. And for those people who watch later, I really don't do live stuff because usually the connection might not be good. I'll be traveling in the car when I do it, and I just don't want to disrupt the video. So now that I'm in a home base, I can do the video. I'm not traveling around. I should have pretty good internet, got good Wi-Fi all over the property. So we should be good at this point. Let me copy the link. Who's in here? Give me a comment. Anybody? Probably not. All right, we'll just throw that in there. I don't even know if it showed up. All right, but anyway, June 1st, 2023. So yesterday we had the debt ceiling, and Kevin McCarthy was praising that Congress, or I should say the House of Representatives, passed the debt ceiling, raised the debt ceiling. And there were a few holdouts on both sides. There were a few staunch Republicans who were more sound money, more fiscally responsible in appearance. They voted against it. And but it passed pretty easily. Most of the House voted for this thing. And do we know what's in it? I mean, kind of. They say some cuts to the IRS. They clawed back some money that was already out there, which was really minuscule in the big scheme of things. But ultimately what it sounds like, the takeaway of this debt ceiling, is that it's been raised so they can spend up to $4 trillion, go in debt up to $4 trillion more dollars, putting it at around $35 trillion in debt. And it looks like over the next 2 years they can do that because the ceiling's been lifted until it looks like January of 2025. So the next president gets to deal with it. The next Congress gets to have fun. But that's all they did, is just kick the can again. And for Congress and, Kevin McCarthy and, some of the others to come out and say that this is the biggest, cut that was ever been made. And listen, all they're doing is cutting how much they're spending. They're still spending a lot. They're still spending more than they bring in. They're just not spending as much. They're not going into debt quite as fast. That's all it is. But they're still going into debt, and they're going into debt massively. Like I said, it looks like $4 trillion is what's been authorized for the next roughly a little over a year and a half. And that's extra. That's debt spending, deficit spending. So they've solved nothing. And so you saw Litecoin kind of bump up a little bit. I think that's because, well, we're in June. And I did say in June we should have a nice run up, because just based on history, I could be totally wrong, but I'm just looking at historically what's happened prior to the Litecoin halvings, and that occurs right at the beginning of August. And so roughly 44 to 48 days, I think it is, before that halving is when you have kind of a run up in Litecoin, kind of a pre-pump, and then it goes down a little bit. That could all change. If it doesn't do that, well, maybe it's going to just go up. There's a lot of fundamentals pushing it up. But if it does stick true to the past, we should see a run up here in the next, well, this month anyway. I targeted, based on historically, I targeted it at between June 17th and June 21st. I think I just threw June 17th out there, but it's probably June 21st would be ideal. That's the summer solstice, I think, and you're kind of just coming into a new moon period if you're looking at those kind of things, and it would line up with the past pumps that you had in Litecoin. So we'll see. I mean, it's starting to move. Hong Kong, an exchange over there, just allowed buying Litecoin, Bitcoin, a couple others. And so it looks like Litecoin got off to a nice start, being maybe the most bought coin available on that exchange. A lot of use case right now, a lot of things that it can do, and it can do it very effectively, efficiently, cheaply. So a lot of fundamentals for Litecoin right now. So it doesn't surprise me. It should be pumping. Yeah, it should have been pumping a long time ago. It should be moving up. It should be a much more fair value toward Bitcoin and other cryptos, but it isn't. So it is what it is. But you just have to, you got to look at it, and at some point the market does correct, and it will reach its fair value. Now, might be 2 years from now. That's the problem. You never know. But it is what it is. You can still use it. I actually used Litecoin today. Put some gas in the car. I needed some gas in the Digibug. I was running it on empty. The light for the first time came on, the empty low fuel light. I've never seen that. Because I just don't run it. I just don't run vehicles low. I like to be prepared. I like to have the fuel in there. I don't want to have the be in a situation where, oh, the gas station's closed, or oh, the power's out. Because the power did flicker yesterday when I took the dogs to get their rabies shots. The power at the vet flickered because there were some pop-up storms, and the power went out, and so I couldn't pay with any digital form of money at that point. Credit card, debit card, nothing. I had cash, but they still couldn't take the cash because they couldn't print the invoice and they couldn't put it into the system. So, I mean, when things break down, this is just one little glitch. The system's rebooted. And so you couldn't make a payment. And I got there early. I'm thinking, okay, I got to get in there, get out, because I got to get home. And, and I got out of there early, and then I go to pay, and then power goes out. Great. And so I need to wait. And the two dogs that were in there before, my two dogs, they're like, getting wound up because those dogs are in there. Well, they weren't out yet. Well, then they came out. See, I would have been paid for and out of there if the power didn't go out. But the two dogs, given the power delay, came out, and then they're back at it again. And I'm like, ugh. Timing's been off for me lately. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. Things are just a little out of kilter. I stopped and washed the car. All right. And so the knob was just a little bit off. Just a little bit off, like 2/3 of the way. So you couldn't really tell, is this rinse or is this soap? So I kind of tested. I'm like, okay, now that I've defined the rules, I can play the game. So it was, it was just a little bit off. There have been a few other things that have just been a little bit off. And I'm a little bit off. So, and that's been lately, and I've really been aware of it. I think it might be affecting other people to a higher degree, though, because I've got friends who they're just kind of, okay, I need to take a break. I need to step back. I can't do this anymore. I need to decompress. I need to walk away from whatever, social media, crypto, whatever it is. I need to get away from it. And I mean, I don't necessarily get to that point. I guess I do, but I just keep going because what else are you going to do? And so you just keep putting the message out there and doing the best you can to spread some truth. But a lot of other people, I see the emotional impact and sometimes spiritual, psychological impact that markets have on people and life in general. And yeah, I mean, if you got to decompress and step back and recharge and recollect and meditate on it, whatever you need to do that. It's important to do because it's a long journey, and you don't want to be out of the game because you just like collapse. You don't want to be at that point. I tend to be more steady. I've kind of gotten myself to that point. I'll slow roll some things and put it off because I don't want to get stressed out. I don't want to let things get to me too much. So I'm just not going to do it. So I'll tend to spread out those things rather than let it all build up and affect me. I'll kind of spread them out over a longer period of time because I just, I don't want to get all upset about something and then I just walk away and I'm done. I can't take it anymore. That's not a good situation. So slow and steady wins the race, I guess is the thing. So that's maybe why I like Litecoin, because it's a very slow mover. When it moves, though, look out. But no, slow and steady wins the race. But yeah, I have seen some people at this point. It just seems like it's affected them at a deep level. And you see that in the crypto market, there's cycles, and that's why they call them cycles, because there are emotions to where people get to a point and they capitulate. You see that on the charts. You see that they get the euphoria, it's almost a manic depressive thing. But just the other day, I thought, watching how some people have been behaving that I know, that I've seen and watched for a long time. And I thought, I think we're close. I think we're close to things moving up because I see a lot of people getting frustrated and just almost somewhat defeated, and that's what you look for in markets, to where people are just like, nothing's gonna move, it's done, I've got all my money invested in this, it's not gonna go anywhere, and then before you know it, it's a boom, it shoots up. So I don't know. I think everything's primed right now, and especially for Litecoin, because that's what I really pay attention to. I think we're at that point where we're going to see. I think we'll see it with other coins, but I think we'll definitely see it with Litecoin, given the fundamentals, the halving coming up. I think you'll see some action on it this month, and maybe even into July. But again, could be wrong. But I do see some energy building in it. I don't even know where it's sitting at right now. I'm not getting into charts and not getting into prices. I don't even want to do this. I just want to kind of see and gauge the market a little bit, just to see what we have going on here. So I apologize, I'm not paying attention to you. I'm just looking over here at the iPad. Prices, CoinGecko.com. That's what I usually use. A lot of people use CoinMarketCap.com. That's another site, but it just kind of gives you an idea of what the prices in dollars these things are trading at. XRP's moved up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Litecoin's about 95 bucks, up almost 7% on the day. A little, almost 12% on the week. Bitcoin is flat, so it is outperforming Bitcoin a little bit. Look at the ratio of Litecoin to Bitcoin, because I think that's going to tighten up. Right now it's 0.35, a little over 0.35. I mean, that's been climbing, and I expected that to happen getting closer to the halving. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it is making a little bit of a move in comparison to Bitcoin, which is what I expected. I thought, we would see a nice pump here in June. We'd see Bitcoin around 45 to 50,000, maybe probably 45,000. That was my thought, months back. And we would see Litecoin really rock at that point and really narrow the gap, possibly going, even 50 to 1 with Bitcoin. So, I mean, if it did that, 45,005, that'd be $900 Litecoin. Now, I like to stay conservative, and that's why I said, and now it looks like it might not even happen. But I was saying that Litecoin's going to go to $240 between June 17th and June 21st. So I've been saying that for a long time, and I still stick with that. I mean, to me, I think that's that's kind of a legitimate thing. A lot of people will say that's way too high. A lot of people will say, it's way too low. So if I'm in the middle, that's probably good, I guess. Not too far to the extreme. So today, on Cigars and Crypto, I'm smoking a Serie O Oliva. I like the Oliva line of cigars. They are, I probably got stuff on my face. I had the windows down. I don't even know. I should have done a check. Do I got anything, on my face here? But I like the Olivas, the Serie O. They're really good. Different kind of flavor than the Serie V. Serie V's is more rich. Serie O is a little, I don't know. It's just different. So anyway, that's what I've got here today. We got the chat. Yo, get Twitter back on Monday. Phil C, that's awesome, man. That's cool. Finally. You made some comment. What was it? It wasn't even, I don't know. It's a free speech platform, right? And then you make a comment and you get banned. Go figure. That's the way she goes. You ever watch Trailer Park Boys? The dude, the uncle, or I think he's the dad of the one, and he got some money he was supposed to be holding, and he goes to the casino and blows it all. And they're like, what'd you do with all the money? Where's the money? He says, well, it's the way she goes. What do you mean it's the way she goes? So yeah, that's the way she goes sometimes. The title I put here is More Money, More Problems. How appropriate. Sometimes the more money you have, the more problems that you create with it. You look at what's going on, what the United States has done with money. You create a bunch of money, but then you end up creating a bunch of support systems to go with it. Well, we need this. Well, we need Homeland Security. We need TSA. We need this. We need to send troops over here. We need bases over here. Pretty soon, you need more and more money to sustain it. And you get to the point where it's just, how many more trillions are you going to go in debt? When does that end? And they had the opportunity to stop it in Congress and decided, let's kick the can a little bit longer. We're still okay. Well, I think it ends when people stop accepting your money. They stop accepting the dollar. And we've seen that happening here with other countries. They are no longer using it. They're just like, hey, you know what? You're going to rob us of our energy and you're just going to print a bunch of money up. We're just going to go ahead and use something else. And that's what they're doing. And we've all got that opportunity now with gold, silver, crypto, anything you want to use. And the thing about cryptocurrency is, let's say we didn't have crypto. And we're in that situation to where, okay, we're getting robbed. They're going to print $4 trillion more in the next year and a half. Then they're going to create more money after that. It's not going to end. It'll never end. So what do? Well, maybe some of us get together and say, hey, let's form a new kind of money. And, it's going to be this many available, and we're going to have it secured by computers, the code in the computers. And we come to this consensus and we say, okay, yeah, I agree. That sounds good. Now we can use it. We can all trade it together. Well, that's exactly what Bitcoin did. It's exactly what Litecoin did and other cryptocurrencies. Digibyte's done. Dogecoin. You know what you're getting, and you just choose whether or not you want to use it. You can opt out of that other system using those Federal Reserve notes. If you look at this picture that I put, the thumbnail on this video, it's a $20 bill, and it just happens to have Buy Litecoin stamped on it. I don't know how I come across these things, but it's a Federal Reserve note, a debt note created out of a private bank, the Federal Reserve, that was formed in 1913. And it's been devalued for, how many years? 110 years. And you've lost purchasing power. Funny Phil C in the chat, if you're watching the chat. I mean, you can't even use comedy anymore and you get in trouble. Nobody knows what sarcasm is. Nobody understands, how funny things can be. We can't laugh anymore. Hey, today is the first day of Pride Month. They need a whole month for this stuff. I see it every day. I'm inundated with it. Why they need a special month? You can't even talk about it and even try and make a joke about stuff like this. And people get so offended. Who cares? You don't have to listen. And especially with Twitter, if you don't like what Phil C has to say, mute him. And you'll never see him in your feed again. If you don't like what, somebody has to say, mute them. But the problem is they don't want to mute it because they want to fight. Because they're unhappy with themselves. And so they got to engage and they got to get out there and, like a pig wrestle in the mud. That's their fun. And that's what they want to do. You got all the tools just to ignore things. Shut it off. Create your own echo chamber if you want to. It's fine. Do it. You don't have to listen to some of this stuff. But people just want to try and change my life, try and change your life, try to project their feelings onto you and their emotions and what their ideals are onto you. And we all have ideals. The thing is, you can't go around pushing them on people. You can have a discussion and, maybe help them to change their mind. But going around pushing it and saying that, well, this is the way it's going to be. It's the way she goes. And you deal with it. That's just not the way it is. And, these retail stores pushing an agenda like that, you're running a business. You're in a business to make money. You need to get as many people as possible buying your product. When you go out there and take a controversial stance, you're just kind of screwing your customer base. And that's just not a good thing to do. I should have muted this and I didn't do it. Hang on. See, like I said, I don't got. Yeah, I got to get used to using this stuff. Let me pull up the comments on this way, and that way if I'm missing anything. Jason, cool. G Chin, hey man. Phil, Ron Wisnowski. Hey Ron, are you coming to Peoria June 23rd? I hope so. Hope you can make the drive at the Peoria Pizza Works. It'll be pretty cool. Yeah, June 23rd in Peoria. We're having the live meetup, a live happy hour broadcast at the Peoria Pizza Works. All the details are on my website, clintwestwood.net. You will see that. You will, it's free admission. Just come hang out. It's that's what crypto is all about. Freedom's all about. Just getting people together and sharing ideas and discussing things and realizing we're not alone, because there's always a bug that might land in your coffee. You're not alone. It's all good. I don't have the dogs today. They are getting groomed. I told them cut Tilly short because she's a husky mix and she just gets so hot. So she's gonna be nice and short, won't even look the same. But yeah, they're gone today. Pizza Works, it's a cool place. I've been going there for a long time when I was younger, and it's just a good place to hang out. And it really is. They got a patio. You can go outside and smoke if you need to, but they pour stiff drinks, got good pizza. It's a good place to have the meetup. Good vibe. So yeah, come check it out. Spend the weekend in Peoria. I don't know, I'll have to look and see what else is going on in Peoria. A lot of times they'll have festivals on the riverfront that are pretty cool to go to. I don't know If they do, if they do, I'll post it on my my website, or I'll talk about it on a future video. But there's a lot of good things to do. River City, right on the river, used to be the biggest whiskey producer in the entire country. The city of Peoria, that's where the Whiskey Trust was. All these different companies came together and had, you know, just massive amounts of liquor that they were producing in Peoria, Illinois. A lot of the national government's tax revenue came out of Peoria, a pretty high percentage actually. So kind of a cool thing. But that's gone, and they're trying to renovate that now or bring that back with, there's a distillery in town. I don't even know. There's a distillery in Peoria now that they brought back, Black Band Distillery. It's pretty good. They produce some organic gin and vodka and some whiskey. So it's good stuff. Yeah, there's plenty of things to do though, if you want to come hang out. June 23rd is a Friday. That's when we do the live happy hour. But I mean, come on in Friday, spend the night, and plenty of stuff to do on Saturday. All right. Yeah, the debt ceiling. It's the same old song and dance, and now they're acting like in the Senate that oh, I don't know, it's like, you remember the story about, what was it, Brer Rabbit? Oh, don't throw me in the briar patch. Oh, please don't do that. And then you throw him in the briar patch and he's like, that's where I wanted to be in the first place. It's kind of the same thing with this debt ceiling in a way. I mean, they're just like, oh, I don't know, I don't know if we're gonna get the votes, I'm not sure, it might not make it, yeah, you know. And then the House overwhelmingly passes it. Then you have the Senate, they're saying, well, I don't know, it might be a close vote. I mean, it might not get through. Yeah, I agree, Phil. I mean, you're just voting to completely destroy the republic even more, stabbing more knives into it. And I mean, they're just not, no, they're just not friends of the republic anymore, friends of the people. But yeah, the Senate, they're going to put this dog and pony show on to where, oh, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully we can get it passed, get it to the deadline, which is June 5th now. I mean, one of the talk shows today, one of the, you know, the normie talk shows, Today Show, I think it was, when they reported on the debt ceiling, the language, and I said this before, the language that they use to avoid a catastrophe, a debt, you know, I don't even know, all these words to get you fired up and make you think, oh my gosh, if they don't pass it, the Senate needs to pass this to get it to the president's desk before June 5th, or else everything implodes. Never happened before. You know, it's like, yeah, the U.S. has been bankrupt before, truly bankrupt. And when they confiscated gold, I mean, made dollars irredeemable for gold, or Federal Reserve notes, but notes irredeemable for gold, they bankrupted. That was a bankruptcy. I mean, basically, I'd say you make the argument that they've bankrupted it when they took silver out of the coinage in '64, and then definitely August 15th, 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard. I shouldn't say that. You know, the dollar was no longer, the debt was no longer redeemable in gold. So France was like, F you, I want my gold. Nixon says, you're destabilizing us. They're not paying you in gold. So that's a default. That's a bankruptcy as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this country's been bankrupt for a long time because it's on an unsound money standard. And it's not a standard, it's just using unsound money. Nothing is redeemable for anything at this point. It's all just a fiction, it's all made up, and they're gonna continue to perpetuate the magic trick. That's all they're doing. So, raise that debt ceiling, keep printing more money, keep creating more out of nothing, and you're gonna continue to see everything that you work for eroded, and the cost of everything. I had to do some shopping today, and the cost, I mean, give me a break. Went to the frickin' car wash, and usually it's if you swipe your card, it's a $10 maximum, you know, and usually I would never hit $10 to wash the car. You know, I'd soap it up, pre-soap it, soap it, rinse it, you know, spot, whatever, wax it, you know, spot-free, rinse it, and all that, the whole thing, all myself for under $10. Today, I had to swipe it twice because it hit the $10 limit, and then I had to do it again. Well, then there's a $3 minimum, so it's $13 to wash the freaking Digibuck. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, you're gonna make me hand wash it at some point, you know, come home and do it. But it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. Used to be $1 minimum, then $1.25 minimum, $1.50, and $2.25, now it's $3 minimum, you know, every time you start it up. So if you let it run out, you gotta put $3 more in. Keep feeding it with quarters, or swipe that card twice. So you see it right in front of you, and the reason why is because they've created all this money. And they're not going to stop. They've proven that. They're trying to convince you that they are, but they're not. It's all theater. Once again, all BS. They're going to continue to print, continue to create the money, and just don't get to that point where it becomes all digital, because if it does, it's CBDC time, and they are going to take everything you have, control everything that you have, and that's the end game for them. So, got to get your wealth in your possession while you can. Get whatever it is, whatever you need, get it, have it, and then they don't have so much control over you. So that's it. I see some other people are going live. Miss Teen Crypto is going live. You know, people got set times. I just jumped on here. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. They got their own shows established, and I just need to find a little time slot where I do these lives. I was just running around today and couldn't do it this morning like I had hoped. But I'm thinking maybe around 8:30 or a.m. Central Time is when I think I'll do these lives. Come out in the morning when it's cool, as long as the weather's good. Otherwise, I might just prop it up in the bar and do it. But 8:30, I think I'll start going live, and I'll do my shows every day, and we'll just talk about what's going on. And I appreciate you for hopping in. Thanks a lot. I mean, it's taking time out of your day to listen to me talk and smoke a cigar. So trust yourselves. You got to in this mess. I mean, they are not looking out for you. Not looking out for you. They're proving it every day. Trust yourself. I mean, make the decisions that you know are right. I mean, you cannot be deceived by these people, and that's the thing. They're just Kevin McCarthy. Oh well, you know, just that smooth talk. He's that boss that, you know, convinces you to go in there and wash your toilet with your hand, and, you know, nothing else, and said, oh, it's for the good though. You know, you need, and you just want to. Yeah, he's got that attitude. You just don't like. You know you're getting robbed when he's talking to you. Just my opinion. So anyway, don't let them fool you. Realize what they're doing, and trust yourselves. Take a look at Litecoin. Might be a good month. All right, love you all. Have a wonderful Thursday. Talk to you tomorrow.